Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Season 3. As today, the Noble War may have come to an end, but we've still got an entire second cycle ahead of us. And who knows what mess we'll be getting ourselves into next time around. I mean, I think we're all kind of secretly hoping it'll be the undead crisis, but I suppose we'll see. In the meantime, though, we've got about, I want to say 2 months to prepare? And of course, that's ample time to also investigate a few other leads, such as yonder icy cave. Much more palatable now that House Goswin will once again reluctantly tolerate our presence. That said, given that we are down south at the moment, we'll go ahead and do a few things down here first. Swing through Hikma, bank a few arena victories, wait for the local settlements to repair, hopefully stockpile some hyena skins, and maybe finally meet our first serpents. Can't believe we still haven't seen any. And just generally bulk up the rookies, which I'm hoping we can do with our current patrol contract. But before we get into that, I also gave some thought as to what we're doing with our Dagger Masters, and you know what? I've ultimately come to the conclusion that I just didn't really set up for the Catal right. I have since been informed that apparently the best way to approach it is essentially to make your Catal wielder duel into Mace Mastery as well. You know, you want Mace Mastery and Quick Hands, and then you bonk someone with a two-hander, and then you Quick Hands off to the Catal and just go to town. But we didn't do that. You know, if I'd realized that was the build we were going for, I would have probably dropped something like Colossus or Backstab, maybe Overwhelm. But, you know, it's a bit late for that now. So I think instead we'll just go ahead and embrace the path of the Pierce Master, which, you know, has been working out just fine for us thus far. That also lets us keep rocking those nets since there's no double fist grip on stabbing daggers like there is with Catals. So yeah, I think we're just going to close out their builds with the good old Berserker Frenzy. And you know, if we do find another potentially promising Dagger Master, maybe we'll make them a Catal guy. I would like to try it, I just need to do it right. Anyway, let's get off the beaten path and go collect some heads, shall we? This is just a 1 skull, so we only need 20. Shouldn't be too hard to find. The men are talking around the campfire when Seymore suddenly jumps to his feet, screaming. He bounds backward, and lit by flames, you see a spider the size of a helmet glommed onto his boot. Oh, well, I mean, maybe don't stab it. That sounds like you're just asking for a bad time. Burn it? No, zero chance that's real. Even Battle Brothers wouldn't be that mean. Seymore nods and stiffly walks toward the campfire with the spiderling looking up at him with oddly trusting eyes. He puts the critter to the pit, and it is immediately set ablaze. At first, you'd think he's done it. He's in the clear. But the fiery spiderling sprints up the man's pant leg, setting his attire alight, and gloms onto his head. Set afire, the man throws his hands out and begins to run around for help. The beast burrows its fangs into his skull, and the screaming ceases in sudden paralysis, and the sellsword falls into the campfire like a board of wood. You scream at the mercenaries to do their part, but when you jump toward the campfire and Seymore, there's a wash of embers and sparks. And when they fade, you find the sellsword calmly sitting beside the flames. Captain, did you say something? Looking around, you find the rest of the company engaged in idle chat. When you look back at Seymore, you thought you saw a white shadow passing behind him. But upon second glance, it is gone. You tell the men to keep a vigilant eye for intruders, and then return to your tent. Right. Just getting a bit too close to the Alps, it would seem. Yeah, high altitudes do funny things to the mind. Interesting. Hey, there we go. Oh, wow. That's actually maybe even a little too easy for the rookies, but we'll take it. I mean, get your XP where you can. Especially if you're getting paid for it. En route to Thunberg, the raiders check every nook and cranny of the nearby mountains for any ne'er-do-wells that may have holed up in those hidey holes. And sure enough, after an uneventful night of camping, Bowman comes to a sudden stop. He points from his raised perch down a nearby slope and towards a quaint little camp of fledgling bandits going about their day-to-day life. Bandits just over yonder. Ain't been here long. And they won't be here much longer, neither, Rax growled, stepping up, axe in hand. Hang back, Rax, the nebulous captain said from the shadows. Let's see what the new guys can do. Yeah, Rax grumbled, heavy axe head thumping back to the ground as he leaned on the haft like a cane. Guess I can't have all the fun. And he watched as the Raider rookies advanced, a few veterans backing them up. Arrows swiftly mowing down two of the bandits' number with a flurry of shots. Guess they wouldn't have put up much of a fight anyway, the burly brute uttered. And he found a seat with a few of the other raiders, watching the battle unfold. They actually do have us outgunned, so I'm not sure if they're going to move up on us or not. Oh, well, I guess that answers that. Despite the early losses, the bandits gamely rushed into battle, Seymore moving up to meet them, hefty sword slung over one shoulder, a pesky Pikmin swinging wildly at him on approach. The rest of the raiders rushed forward, Giannis making short work of a cleaver-wielding cad. Seymore stepping up as well, massive mace in hand. One by one, the raiders rallied, drawing up their battle line. A hurled spike, impaling an axeman's abdomen. A blast from Alois, shredding the face and throat of an unfortunate opponent. Diego gored the gut-shot goon, as Rook impaled another. The raiders' line rolling right over that first row of ruffians, barely a speed bump. Random setting his sights on the back line instead, the row of 5 bowmen suddenly shuffling nervously, and then breaking entirely as black-fletched arrows claimed 2 of their own. Seymore unshouldered his blade, a ne'er-do-well split from neck to navel. And Seymore gleefully charged into the last few foes, one swiftly breaking away, sprinting for a nearby slope. Stumbling and bumbling. But a quick wind sprint, and he too was pinned. The raiders were quick to capitalize, moving up to close the gap, cutting off potential escape. One archer broke away, narrowly evading Seymour's mace. The other caught by Rassel's club, ragdolling to the ground. Rassel ran down the next, unleashing Snarler as he did. Mace cracking into the poacher's ribs, sending him careening right into the mangy mutt's waiting jaws. And then there was one. A single solitary poacher remained, already being torn and tattered by a duo of dogs. The raiders almost leisurely approaching, Seymore being the only one to rush in, eager to claim at least one kill. And claim it he did. A heavy strike, the body hurled clear, bouncing down the rocky slope, before finally coming to rest broken down below. The raider swiftly rolled to camp. Not that there was much of note. Some meager coin, a bag of salt, some other paltry goods that might fetch a few coins. Whilst Rax and Drak wandered in the background, collecting a dozen heads. Oh, hey, look at that. Okay, brigand hunters. Slightly tougher fight, but I don't think anything to really worry about. We'll go ahead and grab that double dip in defense, and, man, I kind of want to grab that 2 in melee, but it's really hard to turn down a full 5-point swing on initiative. Especially given that that's a stat he has no stars in. Also, we are about to take dodge. Yeah. We'll call that a rare indulgence, just because he rolled max. And then dodge plus the double dip in defense should really spike his survivability in combat, despite being our lowest level recruit. And I guess we'll swap out a couple of backliners. Try to mix things up at least a little. Alright, let's take on crew number 2. As the raiders made their way out of the ruins of the freshly established camp, they paused, slightly surprised to see a second group of brigands headed their way. Oh, that's why there were so many beds, Bowman suddenly said from the back row. Captain, I think we just killed their camp guards, the skeleton crew they left behind, while the rest of their guys went out to raid the nearby road. It would seem so, the perpetually penumbral captain responded. Let's hope this lot have a slightly richer haul. A few hearty chuckles, and the raiders once again set their lines, moving to engage. Oh wow, this is actually kind of an interesting setup. And man, yeah, look at that archer line. The Craven crew sent their dogs in first. The unfortunate mutts swiftly felled by a flurry of initial violence. Era sent a shot overhead. A crossbowman ducking low, but no harm otherwise done. And the bandits fired back in turn, though they also failed to find the mark. Though, as if in response to the nebulous narrator's words, one last shot did, in fact, find its target. Giannis stumbling as a crossbow bolt bit deep, pointed tip grating against bone. He favored one leg as blood gushed down the other, filling his boot. And the rest of the raiders rushed forward, buying him time to retreat. Rassel's charge cut short by a sword-wielding shieldman. Another approaching on north as well, curiously leaving their back line unguarded. Though perhaps they simply had no choice. The bowmen outnumbered the non 4-1. They've barely got any frontliners at all. It's like, oops, all archers. Mal dispatched the last doggo, clearing a path for Setris to step up. Mark moved up as well, aiming downhill. A scattershot blast sending 2 bandits scrambling. Another crossbow bolt found its mark, though this time glancing off of Setris's particularly sturdy scale. Bowman responded in kind, cutting off a second crossbowman with an arrow through the neck. A slip of the soul and the unfortunate fellow fell straight down a slope and into an early grave. Razzle shoved a shield-wielding shyster back, buying himself a better position atop a precarious precipice. And Random rushed the back line, practically salivating at the chance to flail away at such poorly armed and armored foes. Rook circling around, setting his sights on the second swordsman. Seymore spit and swore a blue streak as his heavy strike was turned aside. Sigmar setting his sights elsewhere, sword raised and ready. And Giannis reluctantly hung back. Sorry, bud, can't take the chance. At least he got a kill last time out, and he'll get partial credit for this encounter. Tommy jammed a javelin through a rapscallion's ruined face. A few more scattered shots from the bandit back line, but it was now abundantly clear that the unfortunate archers had other things on their mind. And in their shoulder, in the case of one particularly unfortunate foe. Though sadly, Random failed to take advantage. A second swing, and Seymore grunted with satisfaction as he drove a shieldman into the ground like a tent peg. Sigmar likewise splitting another foe wide open. And the raiders officially set into the archer's row. Setris promptly splattering a skull, then separating another's shoulder. Mal rushing in late, but eager for his own fair share of blood. Tommy dealt a death blow to the thoroughly defaced defender. And, defying all senses, common or otherwise, the bandit bowmen actually stuck around to keep fighting. Something they immediately regretted as Random's second swing met with more success. Another skull splattered across the landscape. And now they ran. The question, of course, being, was it already too late? It was for one, at least. Run through by Rook's pike. And another Slain by Sigmar's sword. With the ultimate warrior unleashed immediately after. Giannis finally started moving back in now that he was safe from errant arrows. One of the last two archers hastened towards the horizon. But alas, a strong wind held him back. And thus began the end. The oddly archer-heavy enemy formation had never truly stood a chance. The second to last claimed by random flails. And the final eventually falling. To Rook. Nicely done, guys. Yeah, those crossbows actually did pose a very slight threat, at least early on. You know, we do have those frontliners who are a bit more vulnerable to range attacks right now. Giannis, Sigmar, Seymore. And sadly, not much in the way of loot, but we'll take it. We've got Thunberg right around the corner, so no point not to. Yeah, that's fine. And then we had a level up on Cetrus. Let's go ahead and knock that out. Also, sideline Giannis for a bit. Not sure about tossing him any potions just yet. We'll probably wait until he hits at least 7. And Cetrus. Wow, hit soft cap. Which means, I guess... I guess we're following Rax's example. Cetrus is inherently a battle-forged two-hander. Yeah, so I guess recover. Always a safe bet. He's fine right now, but that might change if we ever toss him a proper sledge. As for stats, we'll take the melee and we'll double dip on defense. Congratulations, Cetrus. Honestly, wasn't sure you'd make it this far, but I am always pleased to be proven wrong. And then that, of course, also essentially completes our current contract, though we do have a few more stops. The first leg of the patrol is finished. Now you have to move on to the next. You inform the men as much, and they groan. You also inform them that you're not paying them to bitch. But they groan at that, too. You know what? Fair. Ooh. Oswald the Odds Giant's Mace. I'll have to run the numbers on that. That's a maybe. Anyway, one sec. Let me go unload the wagon. And we're back. Yeah, sadly I decided we'd skip the mace. Much like our current mace, it had no damage upgrades, but at least our current mace has superior pen. Which, unfortunately, I don't think the -2 on fatigue cost really offset. Especially not with that price tag. I'm sure we can find better. Second stop done. Nothing in the local market. So, back to Urlach. Though there is some temptation to just start wandering. Obviously not mid-contract, but perhaps we'll do that once we start setting our sights back north. Peel off another layer of fog, see if we can uncover some other legendary locations. And new ambition. Nice. Collect 50,000 crowns. I feel like we're already pretty close. Yes, we're just 13.5 short. Shouldn't be too hard. Your return to Count Gisbert is met with curiosity. He's counting crowns, but before giving you any, asked you how many heads you collected in your journey. After reporting 20 kills, he purses his lips and nods. Good enough. The man spills some crowns into a satchel and hands it over. Very nice. Let's get that leg patched. And figure out our next move. Which I want to say is probably going to be heading for Hikma, since I would like to bank a few more arena victories while we're still in the area. Might also give us a chance to grab some more trade goods, which is a relatively easy way to bulk up our current bankroll. Though we do have Goldfist just over yonder, and it might behoove us to rebuild our rep with them a bit. The problem being, I suppose, that this is a very isolated town as far as the Goswins go, so it's entirely possible they might send us all the way back north. I think Hikma might just be a safer bet. Perhaps we'll chance upon some nomads or such. I mean, we do have this over here, the Monument to Hopelessness. I'm not really keen to fight undead as our end cap for the episode, but that aside, it's also really close to two major towns, so I feel like even with time to grow, it's never going to have much to offer. Though this might be promising. Yes, perfect. As the raiders set off south towards Hikma, they soon crossed paths with a pack of cackling hyenas. A few faces turned towards Armal, eyeing his exotic cowl covetously. And without a word, several raiders turned, setting off in quick pursuit, eager to perhaps claim such an accessory for their own. And this is a slightly tricky one, since frenzied hyenas are still a bit of a threat, at least for our bros with lower defense. But I'm sure we'll be fine. Alright, let's do this. Might have time for one quick round in the arena after. The raiders cornered the cackling curs in a convenient box canyon, or so they thought. As they moved in, however, the fearsome furred fiends sprang a trap of their own. Two of the brutish beasts, literally foaming at the mouths, moved up on the flanks. One swiftly met by two black-fletched arrows, stumbling but somehow staying upright. The other advanced unabated on the south. As the rest of the pack simply rushed in. Their own attack strategy much more straightforward, as they charged the raiders' ranks. Seymore stepped up. One beast dodging a thrust of his blade, the one behind not so lucky. Seymore stepping up aside, soundly stunning another. Verlin secured the south, waiting for the last foam-flecked fiend's approach. While Cetrus nailed the one on north, Zarmal weaved in. Blade barely piercing a hyena's hide, but a swift strike on the pommel driving it deep. A pair of tosses from Alois swiftly following, bloodying two beasts. And a blast from Alois, sending them into a panicked frenzy. Random clobbered yet one more, the staccato crack of ribs sounding out above the skirmish. And the second rabid beast rushed in, immediately chomping and gnawing away at the bones festooning the wild man's unwieldy frame. Arrow firing into the tightly packed pack. Another beast eliminated. Wow, Val. Rare double miss. And Diego moved in, holding a beast at bay and gesturing for the rest of the raiders to swiftly finish the job before the rest began to run. Though not all had yet turned tail, at least a few continued to fight. As fruitless as it was, a blast from Alois, another beast fell. Zarmal cutting down one of the feistier ones on south. Oof. And Seymore splitting two more in twain. Random, however, found himself slightly more off-kilter, his flail swinging wide. Mal finding no luck either as he rushed in to assist. Though Rook did have more luck, the point of his pike piercing the pesky creature's hex? Question mark? Seymore crushed one on north. Random growling in frustration as the beast continued to worry away at his bones. Val dispatched the last of the untainted pack, and the raiders set their sights on the single one that remained. A shroud of shrapnel shredding its shoulder. And giving Random the opening he needs, with a bonus level up for King's Rook to boot. Though I was hoping for a few more pelts. But we'll take it. 2 is better than none. Let's go ahead and knock out that level real quick. Should be pretty straightforward. Yeah. We'll bump melee, we'll bump defense. And resolve. Would be nice to round out his health, but not that big a deal, I suppose. Alright. Let's keep heading for Hikmah. We'll see if we can find one more target of opportunity, and if not, then we'll hit up the arena. Either way, let's hope we go out with a bang here. Would be nice to get at least one potentially perilous fight. And arena it is. Let me just get a quick peek at local wares. Gladiator on tap. Though I think that's the one we saw last time. Oh, but that one we definitely did not. I'll circle back on that. The grizzled master of the arena approaches as he spies you. Well, the Gilder must have a sense of humor. You'll be facing 2 gladiators. May your path be ever gilded. But to be honest, I said that to the gladiators. And I've been saying it to them every day. Understand? You should prepare to the best of your abilities. Understood. Okay, so we might actually have a fight here. Which means we should go in heavy. Obviously, racks for offense. Let's say, Ver to tank. And then probably a range striker. either Val or Arrow. Though against gladiators, I think Val has the edge. His famed spikes pack slightly more punch. He's got a net too, so that gives us some extra options. And here we go. To those who are about to die, etc., etc. Boys sitting on the shoulders of fathers, young girls throwing flowers to the gladiators, women fanning themselves, men wondering if they could do it. These are the people of the arena, and the rest are all drunk out of their gourd and screaming nonsense. You hope the RetconRaiders can at least contribute an hour or two to entertaining this lot. Oh, okay. Great flail. One of the few things that actually poses a serious threat to our shieldmen. Though thankfully very lightly armored, no headgear either. So we might luck out with a headshot. The grizzled gladiators approached, one wielding a blade and net, the other whirling a heavy metal flail. The flailman stepped up first, not quite close enough for Rax to engage. Though Rax engaged nonetheless, rushing round to the north, getting stranded for his trouble. Though Ver was quickly at his back. A slash with the edge of the spear, and the ropes fell away. Val stepped out to one side, careful to keep his distance. The first shot clattered off the gladiator's heavy, gilded shoulder guard. The other significantly less lucky, as Rax's axe bit deep, though not deep enough to hamper his performance. Though it did at least panic him enough for an indiscriminate swing, nearly taking the head off his compatriot. More blows exchanged, armor dinged, but no telling strikes. Two more spikes from Val, and the helmed Centurion staggered. The flail-wielding fighter suddenly having second thoughts, but Rax unable to find purchase. Finding his armor in tatters, Verlin raised his shield. The flailman turned to run, and this time Rax did put him down. Val finally pierced the other's armor, javelin sinking into chest. Rax moved in from the side, readying a colossal swing. Oh, but the gladiator was still just spry enough to slip away, not just evading the strike, but then also quickly closing the gap between himself and the thrower who had so persistently plagued him. Verlin swiftly moving to Val's side, Val holding steady, not wanting to invite attack, with Rax swinging round, moving up behind. Nice. One last heavy swing, and the helmed warrior fell. His death rattle drowned out by the raucous roaring of the crowd. The raiders exited soon after, the captain already collecting their pay. And as they left that place behind, at least temporarily, Rax and Ver shared a nod of mutual respect. No words were exchanged, but the meaning was clear. They had submitted themselves to that horrid crucible 5 times over, tempered themselves in its flame. And now, at last, they had emerged all the stronger for their efforts. A feat that the rest of the raiders could only, someday, hope to achieve. Though I should of course stress that's only the second tier of the actual arena talent list. There is one more. So Rex and Verlin aren't quite done with the arena just yet. But you know, that's something for future Retcon to worry about. For now, we'll let them bask. That said, nice that we had a fight with some actual stakes, plus a pretty fun event early on. That whole Alp thing, never saw that before. So I feel like that does bring us to a good place to call it. We'll hit the pause button for now. I will take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping. Figure out where we go from here. Though, again, I would like to rack up a few more arena victories while we're in the area. And we will pick up here next time, as we continue the long march towards Crisis 2. Plus, you know, whatever perils we happen to encounter along the way. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Giemza, OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.